Hey everyone! Today I'm showing you my full setup and strategy for currency farming in version 0.3.1 after the recent endgame changes to towers. I've tested a lot of different setups and this one is by far the most efficient and profitable method I've found during the Abyssal League. If you want to get rich fast, this is the setup you'll want to run. Here's what we're going to cover: my Atlas trees, the tablets, the Waystones, and the item rarity on your character, plus why you should never go above 150%. Alright, let's jump right in, starting with the Atlas trees. The main tree is pretty straightforward. I focus on item quantity, item rarity, pack size, increased monster packs, increased rare monsters, and boosted effects from Waystones and tablets. For the smaller Atlas trees, you need these setups: a full breed tree and a simulacrum tree with just 4 points allocated like this. You also want a fully unlocked boss tree. This ensures that every non-irradiated map with a powerful boss gets +1 to area level. The Beyond Reality notable is also great. It gives a 30% chance to add corruption to maps with a powerful boss. It's also a good idea to allocate at least 4 ritual points just in case you run into a wild ritual. You can of course unlock more points and trees if you want, but for this strategy it's not necessary. The main focus is on breaches. Now let's move on to the tablets and where to use them on the Atlas. We're focusing on breaches, so you'll be using 3 breach tablets with increased item quantity. I always buy them with at least 9% quantity, 10% ones are way too expensive for just 1 extra percent. For the second mode, look for a chance for 3 additional breaches, the higher the better. We'll be running this on maps with Coalesced Corruption because the Beyond monsters that spawn here, including a ton of rares, are where a lot of your divine orbs will come from. I don't cleanse maps unless they have really bad mods like reduced item quantity. Cleansed maps can roll some strong modifiers, sure, like for example more effect of the prefixes, but for this strategy Coalesced Corruption maps perform best. You also want your maps to have either an irradiated icon or a powerful boss icon. Both give +1 area level for higher item levels and more XP. And if you find an Abyssal Depths, that's another +1 level on top. For maps that have Coalesced Corruption but no irradiation or boss icon, you'll need to irradiate them manually. In that case, use 2 breach tablets and 1 precursor tablet to add irradiation. Still, aim for 9% quantity minimum and don't worry too much about the second mod, just pick the cheapest options. This strategy already needs some investment, so keep your costs under control. Now let's talk a bit more about the tablet mods. The top 3 you can get are item quantity, item rarity, and increased rare monsters. I've tested all combinations: 2 quantity and 1 rarity, 2 quantity plus rare monsters, and even a full mix of quant, rarity, and rare monsters. And honestly, quantity wins every time. So for this strategy, stick with 3 quantity tablets. Even if your Waystone has the rare monsters have +1 modifier mod, quantity still scales the best. Now let's talk about the Waystones and the Distilled emotions. You want to use tier 15 Waystones, 6 modded, so you can use all 3 tablets, and specifically the ones with the area is overrun by the Abyssal mod. They're not cheap, around a divine, sometimes more, but trust me, it's worth every orb. The huge number of Abyssal monsters spawns a ton of Beyond monsters and loot, including valuable Abyssal omens. There's even a small chance for the new Heart of the Well drop from a Lichborn exile, although that's extremely rare, so we're not targeting it. Now on these Waystones, you should always prioritize item rarity. It multiplies with your character's rarity, giving you way more value overall. Increased rare monsters is also great, but rarity is king here. For example, if you have to choose between a Waystone with 60% rarity plus 40% monsters versus one with 100% rarity, always take the 100%. Waystones with crazy increased rare monsters rolls might look tempting, and yes, most of the loot comes from the rare mobs, but they only shine when paired with good multiplicative map and gear rarity scaling. So again, always pick rarity first on the Waystones. For the Distilled emotions, go with Liquid Paranoia. It gives you 15% increased rare monsters per emotion. We already have plenty of quantity from the tablets and rarity from the Waystones, so this helps scale both even further. There's also Liquid Greed, but it only gives 8% item rarity per emotion, which is not worth it compared to Paranoia. So for this strategy, Liquid Paranoia all the way. When shopping for Waystones, I search for the Overrun mod, set a max price around the equivalent of 1-2 divines listed in Exalted Orbs. and then click Item Rarity to filter by it and to find the highest rolls. You can also exclude annoying mods like Chilled Ground. Seriously, that one's just not cool. For maps that don't have Coalesced Corruption, use cheaper Waystones without the Overrun mode. Pair them with lower quantity tablets or other cheap ones, but still prioritize Rarity. Even budget Waystones with high Rarity can pay off really well, or you can just rush these maps with whatever Waystones to get to the next corrupted area fast. To sum up the Waystones part, yes, the Overrun maps are expensive to run, but when you choose them right, they're insanely rewarding. Tons of loot, tons of fun, and absolutely worth the investment. Just make sure your gear rarity is set up properly, and that's exactly what we'll talk about next. So, about the item rarity on your gear. This part is crucial. Item rarity from gear multiplies with map rarity. That means stacking both gives you exponential loot scaling, but only up to a point. You'll want at least 75% item rarity on your gear. That, in my opinion, is the minimum for this strategy to make sense. But there's the key part. The sweet spot is 150%. It's been confirmed by the developers that there are strong diminishing returns after 150%. The effective rarity difference between 150% and 300% is just around 1 to 3%. So anything above that is basically wasted, not to mention the power loss of your build. Think of it like resistance caps. You can't go past 75%, without the special +2 max res modifiers, of course. Rarity works almost the same way right now in 0.3.1, effectively soft capped at 150%. I run 151% myself, and that's exactly where you want to be. Alright, let's recap the entire strategy. Item quantity on the tablets, item rarity on the Waystones, increased rare monsters on the Distilled emotions, Overrun plus Coalesced Corruption is where all the profit comes from, 75% minimum, 150% perfect item rarity on your gear. And you don't need even 1% more than that. And that's it. The full breakdown of my 0.3.1 currency farming strategy. Let me know in the comments what your favorite farming method is for the Abyssal League. I always enjoy reading your thoughts and ideas. And if you want to check out my other guides, including how to craft Desecrated Waystones and why you should always run them, those videos are linked at the end screen and in the pinned comment. Thanks so much for watching. If this video helped you, drop a like, subscribe for more guides like this, and I'll see you in the next one.